or you want to do it?
I'll hit. I just hit record, so we can riff on that a little bit, and then when that kind of comes to its natural conclusion, we'll do the other show.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I went on Friday. I went on Friday night, which was opening night. I went and saw it on Friday evening. How about you?
I saw it on Thursday. Thursday, I
okay. So like at 12 o'clock or whatever.
No, at 3 o'clock. It was the showing was at 3, because I was looking all over, like all over town to see what the earliest one. It was 3 p.m. So
okay, so it came out a day early, and
basically.
Okay,
yeah, but I don't know why exactly. I'm thinking maybe they didn't want to give like the bargain matinees or something like that or whatever, like
that could be, actually. That's a good point, especially on Thursday, because Thursday is like dollar day or whatever. They'll if you go before 11 or whatever, it's like $3 or whatever to go to the movie.
So. Or maybe that's however they total the box office receipts, or I don't know, whatever. But
it could be something like that too.
Yeah. But
for those who don't know, we're talking about John Wick 4. John Wick Chapter 4.
Wick. I liked. There's so much to like about it, and it was surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was going to be like solid, but it was really good. From my perspective, I mean, if you were expecting like fight scenes, like somehow each fight scene actually got better and better almost,
Yeah. I will say I think it's the second best John Wick movie in the series.
Oh yeah,
I think it's the second best.
Maybe even like a close for, or like
I think it's
like
very close. Yeah.
Because
I rewatched the other 3 this weekend after I watched that one.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that first one, as transformational a movie that is, it's not that great. In
the
comparison, I went back and watched it again, and the fight scenes are a little lethargic. Like you can tell that they're all kind of new to it, and nobody has really like hit their peak of comfort with the fight scenes. They're a little bit lethargic. They're a little bit slower. It's really interesting to watch. They're far more deliberate. And they're just so stylized in Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, and it's so cool looking.
Yeah. Well, I think that they kind of evolved too, because I remember the first time I saw it, it was almost like The Matrix, because I hadn't seen like fight scenes like that for that first John Wick movie. But maybe you're right. Maybe they just like kept on building on it. But it is amazing how I think it was close to 3 hours. Yeah, I think it was like
it was almost 3 hours. Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't think they could keep on topping the fight scenes, but that literally, like, he had like that last 200 steps up.
Oh, I know.
Man, so good.
As soon as he said Sacré-Cœur at the table, I was like, oh shit, somebody's going down the steps. I knew it. I'm sitting there with our friend Todd, and I'm next to him, like everything every time they're in Paris in that movie, I'm looking at him and I'm like, I've been there. I have a picture there. Oh, I've been there. I have a picture there. Like, I know exactly where that is.
Oh man,
it's so cool. Yeah. And I knew as soon as they said Sacré-Cœur, I'm like, oh, the steps are going to play into this. I was like, hopefully, I was thinking, I wonder if they'll let him ride a motorcycle up the steps, because that's what I was thinking that he was gonna do. And there's no way. There's no way they were gonna let him do that.
Oh, I know. Well, just the physical exertion of like doing all that fighting and climbing stairs like that.
I've climbed those stairs. It is no joke. They are steep and they are long, man. It is no joke.
Yeah. If you ever look at that, there's a place in Colorado called the Manitou Incline, and it's like giant steps. Like you go, and except it's lasts like a mile and a half or something like that. It was like that, but you're like shooting. You have to try and avoid getting shot and stuff.
Oh,
like
good.
The 200 steps, or whatever it was, 207. I forgot what it was. Like in Rome. It was amazing. Or not in Rome, in Paris.
Yeah, the steps to Sacré-Cœur. So there's two sets. So you have the set, the narrow set, that's on the street in Paris. And so you're going from one street to another. In order to get to those streets, you have to climb those steps, and then you like plateau. You've climbed one set of steps and you plateau, and then there's another set of steps and you can get to like a street, and there are buildings up there. It's like terraced sort of style on the way up to the church. Yeah. And then you get up to the church and there's another set of steps that goes up to the church. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I did it with a work group after like an entire day of walking around the city. And so it's like, okay, now we're going to Sacré-Cœur. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, are we on the high side or the low side? Because if we're on the low side, we're going to be in trouble. And we were on the low side, and we had to climb all those damn steps, man. I was so sweaty. I had a suit jacket on, like with a dress shirt and an undershirt. And I was luckily wearing jeans and like comfortable shoes. But I was so sweaty. It was so gross.
Was it middle of summer, right?
It was April. It was April, but it was unseasonably warm. It was like probably 72 degrees. It was beautiful outside, unless you're climbing the steps, and then it's misery.
That's why you need to do the Stairmaster.
I don't care how many
were you sore? Because you've been up all day and stuff.
I was not. I don't remember being sore the next day, but it was a really packed week, so I might not have had time to notice I was sore. I was getting back to my hotel at like midnight and starting at like 7:30 in the morning. That was a rough week.
Yeah. Well, there were so many details of the movie, like, I don't know, like just like, like those suits, right? Like there was a sound in the background, like when he was taking off his jacket or whatever, or moving around, and all the bullets, you could hear the bullets like falling.
They fell out onto the floor. That was a great little detail. There were so many cool details, of those, and I don't remember. I didn't take notes. I wanted to enjoy the movie, so I didn't take any notes. But there are a bunch of little details like that. One of the articles I saw that I wanted to talk about on this was Keanu Reeves had 380 words in the almost 3 hours of that movie. And I think something like 40% of them were either the word yeah or an article or other single syllable word.
That's awesome.
And the reason he had so few lines is because he cut half of his dialogue. Like they gave him the script and he's like, I'm cutting this, I'm cutting this, I'm cutting this. So he cut all of his own dialogue out of the movie. And you know what? It works. It absolutely works. I remember sitting there watching it thinking to myself, has he even said like 7 sentences in this movie? Because I don't think he has. Like the longest sentence was something like, we've got a lot to pay for, old friend, or something like that.
Yeah. What is that in pages? Like 100 words a page. So you could have like it'd be like
it's like 3 pages of script. Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Awesome.
I did like it was awesome. I did like the and I guess the Japanese daughter, that character. I don't know what her name is, but I guess she's a singer. So I went and looked up some of her. If you look at some of her music, her music's kind of catchy. So
is it like poppy stuff?
I would say like poppy, like maybe even like poppy hip hop sort of thing. Okay. Yeah. All right. But it's pretty solid. I didn't know she was famous before that. Before coming out to this is being her first movie.
This is her first movie. Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure about that. I thought I had seen her before, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah.
It's just me being a white racist, I guess. Could have sworn I saw her before. No, she's just Asian.
Yeah, she's just Asian. They all look alike.
Jesus.
Yeah. But so you said it was the second best. What would your ranking be?
I think the third. I think John Wick Chapter 3 is the best one of the three
Okay.
movies, and I think this is the second best. And then I think John Wick 1, and then John Wick 2. John Wick 2, I don't think is a particularly good movie.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I would probably go. Actually, you know what? I would, just for difference, I would go number 1 was the first, and then this one, close second, and then 3, and then 2 would be the bottom.
Yeah, but I didn't look at the IMDb rankings or anything, but I think 2 is widely kind of presumed to be the least kind of good of the 4 movies.
Yeah.
I think it suffers from having a bad villain. I think. I think it suffers.
So like this season of Justified.
Like this season of Justified, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, it really struggles because I think the villain is not particularly good. His motives aren't clear, and yeah. So.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that aside from this being there's like another series with Winston being I guess there's a prequel or whatever
called The Continental. It's going to be a series, and it'll be set 40 years or so prior to the events of John Wick, where Winston is starting the Continental essentially.
So it has to be the 70s or 80s, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be. Okay, that'll be pretty cool.
That'll be cool. Like a little period piece. Yeah, I like that idea too. Yeah, I like to see what kind of like anachronistic sort of tech they're going to have. I think it's going to be neat.
And then there's something else too. I think there's also another movie, or not with John, but in the John Wick universe also.
Yeah, there is. It's I thought it was going to be like was it going to focus on Halle Berry's character from John Wick 3?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm like, I
don't remember, but they are also now they're talking about John Wick 5, which we won't spoil the ending of John Wick 4, but interesting to see how they're going to kind of get to a John Wick 5, given what happened at the end of John Wick 4. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I know. What was your favorite part of John Wick 4?
You know what? I like that the Japanese girl like stabbing her way up the back of that dude, like the guy
when she climbed him like a ladder.
Like a ladder.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
You know what it reminded me of was Legolas in the Lord of the Rings when he did that with like his bow and arrow, and there was an elephant that he climbed. It was kind of a similar thing.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say is that, you know, like Japan, the way they make Japan, it looks like Bruce Lee or Quentin Tarantino's Japan.
Yes, it totally does.
Yeah,
it's very, very much I don't know if it's a tribute or if it's, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it definitely does. It definitely.
Or maybe that's just the way Tokyo is, or
to a degree. To a degree, there is. Obviously, it's a very stylized version of it, but Tokyo is a little surreal, kind of in the amount of visual stuff that you're bombarded with in Tokyo is wild. It's very intense. I will say that.
Yeah.
It's very, very intense. But sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, because they had almost everything that when I think of Japan, I think because they had the cherry blossoms there, they had like all the not neon, but now it's like what LCD screens or lighting or whatever. I don't know. It's just like it looks cool, looks awesome, but it seems to be like when the first time somebody comes to the Strip on Vegas, like it can be overwhelming. I think you know
exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. And Akihabara is like that in Japan, and Shibuya, I believe, is the big intersection with all the LED screens and everything, and that's like it's like the largest intersection in the world or something, and thousands of people cross that street every minute. It's super cool, but it is very, very intense. It's a lot. But I don't know. My favorite part, man, I really enjoyed the scene where they're fighting in the roundabout outside the Arc de Triomphe. And they're just getting hit by cars over and over and over again. I think John Wick got hit by 3 different cars in that. Speeding cars. These cars are going like 50 miles an hour.
Yeah. It's just relentless.
Totally fine.
Well, you never see. Well, you rarely see like some of the details, like he shot the guy dead while he was up in the air. He just got hit,
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
like shot the guy.
There's just so much